Welcome, friends, gamers, and other enthusiasts to the BoydofZINJ channel. I hope you enjoy your time here and the video. Please like, subscribe, do all the bell icons, and comment. It really does help small content creators like myself and others by doing so. If you click on the notifications, it may even let others and the YouTube gods know that they may enjoy these videos. With that being said, let's play. You know what? I think I will be making a new intro, a shorter intro for City Skylines. All right, you'll notice that we still have achievements. Again, this is with no uh, modifications. This is basically the full original City Skylines PC version with all content DLC. There's a few music slash radio DLC I don't have, but doesn't matter. Playing without music because I'm a lowly content creator. I will be next time, next episode. I will have a shorter intro for City Skylines. That's kind of long, and you all get the general gist of it by the time you get to here, right? Episode 6, you should understand that this is a alien planet. You know, we're kind of role playing it. We're using Battletech stuff, names and jargons, and naming conventions. And if you don't know what Battletech is, you know, I do have a lower series where I talk briefly about it. And of course, you can always use Google or your browser choice, you know, search engine of your choice and figure out what Battletech is. It's another Paradox game. It's a really great game, and I like the tabletop and the lore of it. That being said, let's look at our city. Now, I will tell you this is the entrance. We definitely are going to be improving the entrance, and it's going to be a lot harder than I anticipate. This is me from the future. I'm doing a voiceover because I find that it's much more interesting. I did do a few things. I did add a cemetery. I planned on showing you, you know, skipping ahead a little bit, just you know, gain some funds and to get the 5-year mark. But I inadvertently went to the next level. So we added a cemetery. And of course, we're going to rename the cemetery. It's on Stone Street. So we're calling this the Stone Cemetery. And if you remember, Stone is the leading noble family that's currently ruling Comstar. And you'll notice that lots of the roads, somehow I broke some of the road names, links, and stuff. So I'm fixing this up. As we wait for the fix, Comstar has released a new report. It's the 5-year report. This is exactly 5 years since we started. The 5-year report. We got the seal of approval from the Krita Fishing Department. Basically, the central article is telling us that it's now been 5 years since the game started, in-game years, quote unquote, and that we now can access the fishing buildings. The left article, new parking and park added to high school. Crescent Hawk Street added to school zone. As I mentioned before, we added some new parking options, decorations, and also that small non-park park area. Right article. Cemetery added to Boomtown. Gong. People are asking, are ghosts real? And again, the right article is just indicating that we added a cemetery. Nothing other than that. Something goofy from Comstar. Again, this is July 27th, 2028. We started, believe it or not, in game July 27th, 2023. So it's been exactly 5 years since in game years since we started. Hope you enjoy it. I tried to keep most of the city the same as I forwarded in time. I, you know, I did have to make some small changes. The cemetery's one. I also did update the high school a bit. You'll notice that I added, and this is for cosmetic purposes, parking lots. And then I also added like a little circular drive-through to get away from the main roads. When you're dropping off your kids, wouldn't it be nice to, drop off your kids without having to worry about traffic? Yes. And then because I'm also, looking to make this, very something I would love, I decided to add this new little, preload park with decorations. Technically not a park, it's just, assets. However, it looks, in my opinion, very nice. And again, I'm also adding these fences because, if you're a resident here, you wouldn't like to have, just any old, school children run inside your house, right? So you do want some privacy. Now, because this is also a small town, I'm also thinking that the for role playing aspects, that the mayor, the family of BoydofZINJ, is, and again, these are streets that somehow I broke the naming convention, so I'm fixing them. But getting back to the high school, that the mayor is holding city council meetings and agendas currently at the high school. Now, eventually, I'll have to build a mayor, and some government buildings, proper. But this is still a small city. As a result, we're still building up, right? So we don't have the resources or finances to have proper government buildings. I kind of goof up there, or the system's goofing it up for me. So this is where, mercenary, the I believe it's the Wolf Dragoons High School is where we're going to be holding most of our city council meetings. With that being said, the main purpose of this episode is gearing us ready, and it sounds like this is a repeat, right? Gearing us ready to explode the city. We're about ready to start going into explosive expansion. but we're taking our time. And there's a few reasons behind it. One, I like to have some excess funds going in, and this is my own personal preference. Again, I'm not a rusher. I know people who min max and say, hey, if we do this, do X, do Y, you can get to this level and make so much money and don't even have to worry about it. Blah blah. That's not the purpose of this city. It's not the purpose of my playthrough here. The purpose is to try and do this organically and through role play and to enjoy myself. Anyone could just click buttons, and after a while, it gets boring like that. This is an organic role play situation. Now, you'll notice I'm naming some of the cities. Primus is a title, a high ranking title within Comstar. And again, every street name that's currently listed, every building that's placed has some sort of Battletech name associated to it. Either if it's part of the Comstar or the international area, you'll notice that there's lots of Comstar type names. Hilton Head is the Comstar location. That little circle into the city, it's called the Crescent Hawks Revenge, or I'm sorry, the Crescent Hawks Street. It's based off a video game of a mercenary group called the Crescent Hawks, and they had two video games back on DOS, PC games, old PC games, were the Crescent Hawks Inception and then Part Two, which was a really good, I thought, a really great video game called the Crescent Hawks Revenge. And here's that little park asset in front of the high school. I figure this is a great place. Imagine this: a gazebo, some water, places to sit. You can have little parks. There's little, if you have small children, you can even have a little playground. This is a great area where if you were waiting for your school child to get out of high school, this is where you go. It has plenty of lights, so that way you don't have to worry about some creep. There's even that thing in the middle is a clock. I think this is a beautiful area. Some natural rocks. Not some of the rocks I took away, but I left some of the rocks as decorations. And again, this has nothing. This will not improve the area one bit. However, for me, I think it's a beautiful area. Wouldn't you like this in front of your high school? And if you're a resident, wouldn't you like this, somewhere you could just walk and hang out with? You have a little barbecue. Imagine if you're a family that has one kid in high school and you can have a small barbecue as you wait for the kids to get out of high school. Maybe the person is doing, some activities, is in band, chess, whatever, ROTC, whatever, that child's in, is running late, academic studies. There's hotels we could add, and of course, you need to throw away your garbage, so let's put some trash. And again, does this do anything to the game? No, but I believe that it adds something to the aesthetics. Sorry, I was just looking at myself. I forgot, even though I've done this before, I did forget some things I did. I like that bench and looking, right next to the gazebo, looking at the high school. It's a great place where if you're waiting for your child and you want to sit and not be in a car, you could just sit there and say, "Hey, yes." And again, you want proper lighting in the area so that way nothing goofy happens in this area. And there's the high school, and of course the garbage truck. Ooh. When I fast forward the time, I noticed evidently a death wave must have happened. And this occasionally happens, especially when you hit this level. It's a game mechanic where people just mysteriously die in sometimes hordes amounts. The city will recover. You'll notice that there's a large need for housing and starting to recover. And I'm looking at that fire truck. I think, we need to play around with fire trucks. Let's see where this fire truck is. This is the one near the central entrance of the town. And since this is the central fire station, the large fire trucks should be most appropriate. We do have another fire locale getting ready for the fishing industry, but it's a smaller one. So we're going to keep it the small fire vans, appropriate. At least in my opinion. I'm adding the post office. I feel Comstar would be pleased in having the post office and would be in charge of the post office. And I'm thinking that since the post office, I need a central location for the first post office and be kind of close to the residential side. So I'm selecting this area. While, if you remember, the residential area is after the second north-south 4-lane road, the collector roads. So having it here won't make much noise for residents, but still be in a central area where it can hit both the industry to the east and all the residential areas. I'll have to come up with a better name for the post office, but I'll think about it. Okay, so now that we've taken care of all that, we need to start expanding the city. And we have a new plot of land we can purchase. The planetary government has authorized us to expand. And I'm thinking either the southwest land that I'm highlighting now or the southeast land right next to it. The east. As you remember, the southeast one has more farming area and probably overall land area. However, the southwest area also has a forestry. I'm not going to do the forestry now, but it does have access to the water. And I'm thinking of terraforming the land a little bit. This is something that I have decided to do, and I'm going to pick the southwest land. So that way we can start building the residential to the south, and we can take over some of the water potentially. We do need some land, and in the lore, the planetary government has authorized us to terraform this area, and we do have limited access to terraforming equipment to quickly change land. Ultimately speaking, I want the land to the east of that, the southeast land as well. But this will do for right now. We can grow the residential to the south. And I eventually actually see merit being part of the timber industry. But this is something that we'll deal a few episodes from now. We're not even in that phase yet, but this is something I'm planning right now. House Merrick going south or towards timber. All right, with that being said, I think this is fine time for us to start terraforming. And I find there's lots of different ways to change the land. In this case, I want something very smooth, easy to fix the water, right? And I find that a real nice way to cheat this is to use the airplane district, and it'll keep everything very smooth, a very specific elevation, and quickly lets me terraform the land like so. Now, there's two problems I have. I have money issues, and I also have soil issues. For right now, the soil and money aren't too much of an issue, but you'll notice that I'm going to run out of it. But notice how fast I'm able to terraform the land using the airplane. Now I'm just currently destroying some of the roads because it's kind of interfering with the terraforming process. And then I don't really want the airport here. I just am using it to quickly terraform the land. And voila, look at that, fast. And yes, this is unnatural, but this is the resident. I'm sorry, this is going to be a future industrial area, and you would imagine that especially industrial areas, are going to be highly customizable, and they're going to change the land to suit the industry's needs, not the other way around. Plus, we have excess water, so we need to get rid of some of the water and add more land to the water. I'm going to fast forward a little bit as I replace the roads back. I have terraformed it a little bit more, and heavens to Betsy, why am I here? You must be thinking. Well, you'll notice on the top left, I ran out of soil. And this is another area that is going to be part of the combine industrial area. And it's a mountainous area. So what I'm doing is I'm actually leveling the mountain to gain soil. It's part of the terraforming process. This area, again, this is something that lore-wise, the government has authorized us to do. We do have the capabilities because we're advanced. We do have some advancements, and we need the soil. Now, in this situation, we ran out of money, and so which means I need to fast forward it. This is going part. I'm going to fast forward the video to get around, the money problem. See you in a few moments. While we are waiting to get funds, I decided, you know what? It's time to start developing extra residential areas. We need residential areas. And I'm not min-maxing this. You'll notice I'm doing some unusual shapes. Yes, 4x4 is the max, is the min-max situations. But I'm doing 3x3, 2x3, a few 4x4s, and then I'm going to add fence. Why am I going to be adding a fence between these houses? Because I think these are going to be high value homes. Even when I get residential, high density homes, I may keep these as low density homes and just improve the value of these homes. This I would imagine is for like the rich folk of the area, of the international and Comstar areas, the more refined people, if you will. All right, now you see me adding fences, and again, this is something in a real neighborhood. Many houses, homes, will have fences. I'm going to fast forward through the process. It takes me a little bit to the game. This is a game, so sometimes the points that gets added is kind of goofy, so I need to adjust it a little bit. And there's no reason for you to see these micro adjustments at this time. This is the boring part. Keys, so that way we can add buildings much easier. And again, I'm not looking for perfect right angles. This is something kind of natural as well. Now, I noticed that we also have the eco water. So it's time to start polluting less. So I'm going to add the eco water plants. I find that for every one normal sewage, we need two eco waters, and of course it needs power. So I put, even though it's not optimal, I did put that water windmill there, so that way you can bridge the gap of electricity and provide some extra electricity at the same time as well. A win-win. Now, of course, since I just terraformed some water, which is mostly poop water, enters the industrial area, it'll be fixed. I'm just looking at my adjustments. I'm making small adjustments. I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking about I may need to upgrade both our water intake and our sewage, but not yet. And electricity wise, we're still good to go. We're just now hitting 100, and we're, you know, pluses on both the water and electricity, which is a great thing. Let's move on. I also decided that it's time to move our water infrastructure. I'm going to terraform it, and I'm going to place the sewage on the other side of the river. Right now, it's daytime. I fast forwarded again, small time jump, and I fast forwarded to the day on purpose. Let's just take a quick look into it. You'll notice that it's the year 2033. So as a result, it's now 10 years. And look how much we've done. Some people would say how little we've done, but again, we're not trying to rush. We're doing this organically. Let's just take a quick look at the city. And we'll be seeing the Comstar report soon enough. Sure enough, here's the Comstar newsfeed. July 27th, 2033 edition. Central article, 10 years, Boydton is ready. The BoydofZINJ family has been, quote unquote, mayor for 10 years. We have grown. We finally got the planetary and CRETA approval to start fishing, and the future awaits us. Left article, Comstar opens dog park, and cat owners are protesting. Meow. Right article, famed ice cube factory has moved. Pizza van in the area still. And you'll notice that yes, the ice cube factory has moved. It's historical, and there's also a pizza van in the picture. Interesting. Very interesting. Since this 10-year mark, let's take a quick tour of the city and some stuff that you missed. I visited warehouse, actually a few warehouse in the city to help make sure that our commercial industry has products available. And I planted them in strategic areas throughout the city. I also added a warehouse for the ore to guarantee that the ore uh, power plants has enough sufficient fuel to maintain the city. Of course, there's a cemetery. The rich area knows how I have a bunch of uh, houses with fence over them. I live in America, and many houses here in America will have a fence around them. In fact, I can look outside it and see almost every house has a fence around it, which is why I'm adding fences to these houses. Yes, it's not optimal. I could technically add a few extra additional houses, and there'll be areas like that as well. But this, I think, gives each house unit more privacy, right? And adds decor to it. Again, I'm not looking to min max. I'm making to look city. And notice how I have some, beautiful patterns on some sides. And if you notice, there was also that dog park. Here's the high school, and there that park non-park assets in front of the high school. There's roads that walk the walking parks and bicycle lanes that are sprinkled through the city. Again, one of the major political players in Comstar is a big bicycle enthusiast and has encouraged us uh, to start using bicycle lanes a lot more. And I'm trying to make it accessible, something where a citizen can go through most of the city using a bicycle. There's the ComGuard police office. It knows how I added a bunch of trees. And then there's this entrance. Something needs to be done about the entrance for sure. And then of course the industry area. And knows how, yes, the bicycle lanes even go over here. So you can go to work. You can visit, commercial areas, spend your money after work, or maybe, get something to eat, a restaurant, and then go home. You even visit the police, all on a bicycle. And this is where I plan on putting the fishing industry in this area, Bushido Seaside. And knows how I terraformed it as well. Not overly produced. Now, the water intake I moved over here as well. And then, of course, the sewage, I moved to the other side of the lake. You know what? I'm going to do an audible here. Let's add some hotels. And I think this would be a great area for hotels. Now, I'm not thinking about adding mini hotels, just two. And to make sure that they don't get overwhelmed because these are nature hotels, I'm going to place, some privacy fence around them. Now, before we do the fence, I'm choosing this name, a truce. That's the capital planet of the Free Roads League, which is House Merrick. Again, you notice that this is Eagle Avenue, which is again in reference to Merrick. To the south of here, we'll eventually start encountering timber industry. And timber industry, I plan on putting to Merrick's, but that's something in the future. But again, we do have some American investors, and evidently they're into these cheap hotels, you know. And again, there's nothing wrong with them either. You want to go to the cabin in the woods, enjoy nature, relax, you know, and what a beautiful place to relax, right? And I'm changing the logo slightly, and that looks like something Boyd, the city of Boyd would have on their hotels. Sure. And I add a few additional trees. Again, these are nature, hotels. They enjoy nature. Most hotels enjoy the finer things in life, but these hotels enjoy mostly nature. And then there's the fence. You want to make sure that they have their privacy, but also has nature as well. And there's also a small police department nearby. So these people will have this is the ultimate, laid back experience. A small police, historical police department in the area, bunch of nature, walled in so that way, they don't get disturbed by, school children or uh, the locals. And but with all these trees, it does make it hard to kind of see them. So it takes me a while to get used to get this fence down. So let's fast forward a little bit. All right, we added the fence to make it more secluded. Let's take a look at the city. Okay, here's that entrance. We need to do something about the entrance. I'm debating how we're going to do this. First step is let's eliminate the stuff. I'm going to fast forward through this important part. Okay, this is my first iteration. I'm trying to make a runabout in the middle and then have an overpass surpassing the highway. Because ultimately speaking, I see the highway. Remember, this is just old downtown. I see the north. I plan on making the new downtown, larger downtown to the north, and other areas to the north as well, right? So you want the highway to pass this area, but also feed into it. And ultimately speaking, I don't like this. I'm going to start over, but this is my first look, my first iteration attempt. And again, I'm doing this organically. I know there's YouTube videos and guides out there that can show me how to do it. I can download stuff. Yes, I'm not doing any of that. I'm doing this all by hand. Again, that's the. I want to enjoy the game. Why not, right? Why do I have to min max everything? Enjoy. Be your own and enjoy. That's what I say, right? All right. So after some wiggle waggle, some playing around, this is what I came up with, and I'm still not liking it. The cars will have a very difficult time entering it. If you're coming from the industrial side and you want to go north on the highway, you have to do more than a 90-degree turn, which is terrible. So I eventually decided to scrap it and try again. Again, I know there's guides out there. I know I could watch a video to do it, but I wanted to solve this myself, and why not? I have seen a few videos out there. Yes, I won't lie. There's disclaimer. I played the game before. And I know there's mods and stuff I could download. I'm not doing any of that. There's, I'm not. I have not using any console commands. I'm not using any cheats. I'm not using any exploits I know of. I'm using all in-game assets. All vanilla in-game assets. Anything that comes with the original game, PC full version game, anything that comes with any of the DLCs, no mods, no downloads, nothing, pre-created. This is all on the fly creations. And again, enjoy, right? So let's fast forward and let's see my second attempt. All right, next iteration. I decide that the highway feeds into the runabouts. That way, there's less overall entrances, easy to get in and out, but it still looks a little clunky. I'm making a few adjustments, but mm, something about it still irks me. And for right now, I'm not building the highway perfectly. Yeah, it makes that silly turn. Eventually, it'll go forward, but that way the highway could be used if necessary. Something's still a little off. I'm gonna have to play around with it again. Let's fast forward. I tweaked around with it. At this point, I decided to give it a break and let's decorate the city a little bit. I added parking lots to that hotel I added there, and I said, you know what? I mentioned about adding parking lots. I forgot to add parking lots. Let's add some parking lots. So this area, if you remember, there's those two rental cabins here. Now has a parking lot. And again, I like to rename the parking lots. Let's give this Eagle Eye parking lot. Again, Eagle's reference to the mayor. The parking lot I did near the other hotel. Mech parking lot. Okay. So you notice I did fix up the area a little bit. The hotels are making money, but it hasn't been very far. We're gonna decorate it a little bit with some trees. And those people are using the bicycle lanes, which is great. And I fixed up the bicycle lanes to go across. Okay. And again, I'm just decorating the city a little bit. Budget hotel, what a nice area to go in. Let's raise the prices. Let's just a little bit. Now this, we can raise the prices on significantly. I won't min-max it, I'll leave it one less. And the next one isn't doing as great, so two less. Inner sphere. Eventually that'll improve. For right now, that's a small issue. I plan on putting a pedestrian park, area here, so it'll really improve the area. So that place will be much better. But we do need some more commercial areas. And I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I don't know immediately, but I'll fix it. And going, hey, why isn't it? But I decided to put some fence. And again, this, you would imagine that this hotel has paid good money to be in this location and does want some privacy from the rabble, the local town folks. So that's why I'm putting some fence in. And I know as well, that's not exactly culture. So let's fix that up. There's a pizza van, donut van, and people using the bicycle lane. And again, I'm decorating a little bit. Let's fast forward. All right, inspiration finally hit me. And this is the new entrance to the city. You'll notice that the the two highways, and this is the problem I was having. The two highways are not exactly perpendicular to the roads I'm making, right? As a result, I had to kind of adjust them, which is why some of it looks a little goofy. And I used the highway. I decided get rid of the runabout. There was no reason to have a runabout. I came with a different solution. The highways could still go forward. They become, you know, overpass, and then the main road, goes underneath them, and you exit and entrance on the two existing inter- intersections. So those intersections are very busy intersections, yes. However, there's less, roadblocks and stop signs and breaks in the road if I do it there. And they naturally feed into that intersection and out. So as cars go in, they just go to that intersection, leave. As cars go out, they exit the intersection and leave. And you can go both on the right hand side, you enter it, and if you want to go north, you you go take the north side road, and it takes you north on the highway. Same thing on the left side as well. Exiting the city, going on the south highway. And I'm calling these battle. Again, this is part of Battletech. Battle mechs are there. You'll start seeing roads, named after battle mechs as well. But we'll start easy. Just the word battle mech on these highways. By battle mech exits, battle mech entrance highways. In my lore, Yang Industries, which is part of Comstar, has got the license and start manufacturing wind and clean electricity. So you know that all the windmills and even the water windmills are under Yang Industries or Yang Ind IND brand names. And that's something, again, I mentioned this before. This is meant to be real world. And again, these are the hotels. They're not quite making a profit yet, but, it's still early. It takes time, to draw in investors. And we don't have very much tourism yet. That'll be the next legs. So we're going to start ending the series here. Again, this series seems like we didn't do very much, but we actually did a lot. You'll also notice that uh, the main fire department is now in between the highways on the bottom. So they're part of main road and they have easy access to the industry and easy access to the residential side. And you remember in the upcoming fish industry side, there's also a fire department there. So on the west side, the residential side that we're looking at, there's plenty of fire coverage. To the south, we're no longer going to be going more south, but that's planned future timber industry. Southeast, possibly farming industry. More importantly, to the waterways at Bushida Bay, we'll start growing the fishing industries. And you notice that we have nearly 200K in funds. Again, that's the main fire department. here in town, or fire safety from comm guards. And I'm currently looking for the famed ice cube factory. Why do we need a factory to make ice cubes? Who knows? But it's historical, and yes, you'll notice that for whatever reason, the pizza van, there it is in the area. Why does why is it stalking the famed ice cube factory? Who knows? But it is there. I'm not altering these pictures. Comstar has reported on it, and look how busy that intersection is. Yes, and I know that's going to be a problem, and I'll address it later. But for right now, I think this is perfect. It's a fast, easy solution to get into the city and out of the city with as few congested areas as possible. Yes, these two areas where you go in and out are going to be congested, but once you clear this area, it's all smooth sailings. So you just have a little backup, and then wham, you're back on the go again. Before we leave in the YouTube video, we're following this sedan on purpose. You know, Willow Smith is the coordinator of EcoSmart. We'll find out later that Willow Smith is part of Comstar, is an adept, and also a distant relative of the coordinator, which is the leader of House Frida, but has joined Comstar. And she'll be becoming a more important feature. Currently, she has no political ambitions, but she'll be becoming a big political figure in the future. To make sure we remember her, what we're going to do is we're going to rename her as an adept, a low-ranking Comstar member. Again, this is someone who's going to become very important, at least in a specific area. I haven't decided yet, but Willow Smith is a name you'll see again. And oops, I must have caps lock on. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the small peek into Adept Willow Smith. You have a great day, and thank you for watching. And if you have any comments, suggestions, please leave them in the comments. If you notice anything that I'm lacking, let me know. I'm always looking to, think of new ideas. If you have a better suggestion on an entrance to the city, please, tell me in comments what I should do about the entrance to the city. How can I optimize it better? What would your suggestion be? Should I go back to that runabout idea, or turnaround? I don't think it was optimal and it was looking ugly. But tell me in the comments, what do you think about that entrance? Or maybe we should just study it for a while and see if it works. Until next time. I'm just looking at traffic patterns. I notice how throughout most of the city, this entrance area, that intersection, and the intersection to left of it, to the west of it, is the busiest areas. It's going to be an issue. Most definitely. I'm going to do something about it. Let's study it for a little bit and take a look. And I'll think about it later. Maybe make those intersections runabouts. Turn them, maybe that would make it easier. I'll think about that. It's that time of the video where I'd say adios. Thank you for watching. And if you're hearing this, I really like to say thank you for staying at least this long or skipping to the end. I really appreciate it. Better yet, the YouTube gods seem to enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, click on the bell icon, send notification alerts. It really does help content creators like myself. I need the help. If you have any suggestions about my YouTube content or my channel or about this video, I'd love to hear it. Please leave a comment. Regardless, I'd like to thank you for watching. Stay safe, be entertained, enjoy life, and until next time, adios, goodbye. Hope your RNG is better than mine. Thank you.
All hands, initiate shutdown sequence.